দর্শক আজকের টাইম টক অনুষ্ঠানে আপনাদের সবাইকে স্বাগতম। আজকে টাইম টক অনুষ্ঠানে আমাদের সাথে আছেন নিউ ইয়র্ক সিটি স্পিকার মেলিসা মার্ক ভিভার্টো। মেলিসা মার্ক ভিভার্টো আপনারা জানেন যে উনি পোর্টোরিকোতে জন্ম নিয়েছেন এবং নিউ ইয়র্ক 15 বছর বয়সে এখানে আসেন নিউ ইয়র্ক সিটিতে, এবং তিনি নিউ ইয়র্ক সিটির আজকের মেয়র, যাকে মনে করা হয় মেয়রের পরে দ্বিতীয় সবচেয়ে পাওয়ারফুল পারসন। তিনি আজ আমাদের স্টুডিওতে এসেছেন এবং মেলিসা মার্ক ভিভার্টো শুধু পোর্টোরিকান বা ল্যাটিনো কমিউনিটির না, তিনি যারা ইমিগ্রেন্ট অ্যান্ড মাইনরিটি কমিউনিটি আছেন তাদের সবার জন্যই একজন চেতনার প্রতীক হিসাবে কাজ করছেন নিউ ইয়র্ক সিটিতে। তো আমরা আজকে ওনাকে আমাদের স্টুডিওতে স্বাগত জানাচ্ছি। ওয়েলকাম মিস মেলিসা মার্ক. How are you?
Thank you so much for the invitation. Thank you.
Okay, so we are welcoming from Bangladeshi community and as well as
Yes.
Time Television. It's a very new television, but you know, a lot of public officials they are coming, and we are encouraging our community
Yes.
to get involved with the mainstream politics. Like
Very
you.
important.
Yes.
Very important to know who your elected officials are and to get involved and get
Yes.
engaged.
So let me talk to you. Being a speaker of New York City, and you are the symbol of the encouragement of all, I think, the ethnic and immigrant community. How you come through all the path to today's position?
Well, I mean, I've been a city council member now
Yes.
for, I'm going in my third term. I can only serve 12 years.
Yes.
I'm in my 10th year. I represent a district that is in Manhattan and in the Bronx. I represent
Yes.
East Harlem. I represent the South Bronx. And I've been a council member for 8 years. And I decided that I was interested in becoming the speaker of the city council and really help work on behalf of the communities, all communities in this city, and pass legislation and pass laws that are going to be helpful to all of New York City residents, right? I'm not interested in just working for some New York City constituents. We wanted to make sure that we were open to everyone. But so the city council is made up of 51 members, and I'm basically like the president of the city council. So each member represents about 180,000 New York City constituents, and they represent all of New York City. So it's been really exciting for the past year to be able to work with my colleagues on behalf of all New Yorkers.
So what is the issue as a speaker you are working now for New York City resident?
Well, just about 2 weeks ago, I did a state of the city address.
Yes.
It was a message about what my priorities or what the priorities of the council are going to be for the next year. Obviously, housing is always really important, making sure that we build more affordable housing because it's becoming very expensive to live in New York City. Obviously, the issue of improving our educational system is really important. We want to make sure we have the best public schools. And so those are some of the issues that are really important. Also development, there's projects that are going to be happening throughout different neighborhoods in New York City where there's going to be some housing being built or commercial space being built. So there's a lot of work that we are in charge of and an agenda that is very aggressive.
Okay. So you mentioned about the affordable housing.
Yes.
New York City, it's a immigrant community, and
Yes.
the most of the minority people that live in New York City, low-income people. So there is a lot of lip service by a lot of elected official during the time of election. Could you please exactly tell us what is your exact program of the affordable housing and expansion of
Well, I think the city council works with the mayor, but we're two separate, right? But the mayor has been clear that in terms of his administration, he's going to try to use all of the tools available that he has to create more affordable housing. So we have different tax breaks that are available to people that build housing, and in order to benefit from those breaks, we are making sure that they have to create more affordable housing. When we vote on projects in our districts, we negotiate with developers to make sure that they bring more affordable housing. So we have the ability to create, more housing and to be able to use the incentives that the city has to mandate that developers do more. We didn't have that, the last mayor, Willie, wasn't as committed as this mayor is to creating more affordable housing. And so it's not only about building more units, but it's also preserving. Because a lot of people in New York City live in rent-stabilized apartments or rent-regulated apartments. We got to make sure that we keep rent regulation laws in place. So I think we're on a path that is really one that is going to provide for more housing in this city and affordable housing at that.
Okay, so you mentioned as well the education, right?
Yes.
And the pre-K is one of the
Yes.
big problem in New York City. There is a lot of kids. There is no seat in this school, and they cannot, get in this, attend the school. So what the city council is doing in face that kind of challenge in the future?
Well, I mean, last year, we worked very hard on it as well. The mayor was committed to providing universal pre-K so that every child or every family that wants to have a pre-K spot would get one. So we were able to get the funding from the state, and in a very short period of time, the city was able to put in place, and I think about 55,000 pre-K seats last year, the first year.
Yes.
This year, there's even more seats that are available. So most parents should be able to have access. They may not get it right in the neighborhood they want, because there is a demand, but there is slots available for any parent that wants to have access to pre-K. And that's really important because that's the foundation for having a good education is you need to have good pre-K, and you start developing the patterns in kids so that they can perform better as they go into elementary school, middle school, etc. So that's a real important commitment, and that's something that's benefiting all communities, and very excited about that potential.
So do you think next year the crisis will not be like last year?
I'm hoping not. Every year, as it keeps rolling out, any of the challenges that were existing, I think are being smoothed out, and more seats are being created. So we have to get a commitment to keep funding it. We got a commitment from the state for 4 years, I believe. So we got to make sure that after those 4 years are up, that we still get the money. It's about $350 million a year to pay for universal pre-K. So that's going to be a concern that we have moving forward. But most family members, hopefully, or families that want pre-K should be able to get a seat.
Yes. Okay. So let's talk about the other issue, which is there is a burning issue of police relation with the community, a minority or colored people. So what, as a speaker, you represent most of your life, you represent the minority community, ethnic community. What is your feeling about this?
Well, look, I mean, I think it's very clear that there have been concerns historically about the relationship with the police and the communities. And I think that I know in the time that I was city council member, when Bloomberg was the mayor and Commissioner Kelly was the commissioner, that we were very much always battling, because I don't think they really acknowledged that there was a problem, that there was a problem, that police officers, the way they were policing communities of color. And so I think that now with this new administration, there's at least been an acknowledgement that there are problems, and that there has to be, we have to work to improve the relationship. So we just had a hearing recently on community policing. And this commissioner has said that he's committed to improving police community relations, and he wants to do more community policing. So we were trying to get from him exactly, well, what does that mean? What does it look like? What is the training going to look like? But there is at least an acknowledgement that there are problems, and that relationship is tense, and it's particularly with communities of color and poorer communities. And so we're working hard to try to adjust the policies so that we can have a better police department.
So you are a community leader. It's been a long time. You work with community. Did you ever feel that really there is a problem between the community and the NYPD?
I mean, I hear it every day in my community. Right? I represent, my district has the most public housing in the city of New York. It is a poor community. It is a community of color. And I hear stories every day from my constituents, right, about the concerns that they have. And so that's very real, and it's not just happening in New York City. It's happening, in other parts of the country. So it's a reality that we have to deal with, and we have to tackle it. And I think that we are all committed. I know, this city council is very committed to working on that issue and improving it.
So you and then mayor and public advocate, both, all three people who are the major figure of city. Everybody thought that there will be a big change of New York City because these three people, they are real friend of minority. They work with community, grassroots organization, and others. So, what would be the change in New York City under your leadership?
No, look. There's two things. I think that we live in one of the most diverse cities in this country, right? With speaking so many languages, and government has to reflect that reality. And I think me being the first Latina in this position, and having Letitia James, the public advocate, as the first African American woman in a citywide position, and then you have our mayor, right? In terms of his progressive politics, I think that we're reflecting what New York City is about, right? And what New York City should be. And my view of being in this position, my view of what the city council needs to be accessible to all neighborhoods and all communities in this city. That's why I've made a very conscious effort to make myself very available to ethnic media, to make myself, accessible, that if they want interviews, that we communicate, that we have an outreach plan, because communities get their information in different ways. Social media, community newspapers, neighborhood newspapers, your channel, right? People are getting there, and we got to make ourselves available and make government work for every New Yorker. And that's what my view is. My view is that this government needs to be there for every single New Yorker, because we represent every single New Yorker.
So say about your previous speaker, Christine Quinn. She never saw any ethnic, especially in Bangladeshi media. You were the first speaker who came to a media where represent a couple of 100,000 Bangladeshi in New York City. So how do you feel that, okay, I should have a bridge between the, how you motivated that, okay, I have to have a bridge between the ethnic community and
well, I mean, it's just, first of all, it's who I am, but I think my experience also, right? Being born and raised in Puerto Rico, speaking another language, I'm bilingual, I'm bicultural, I understand that. And it's something that I have experienced myself, whether it's prejudice or whatever. And so being a representative, that's why I'm saying government, it's important to have representatives there who have these experiences, because it really makes us better legislators, and it makes us a better city council when we have all those different experiences. So I was very committed since I walked in through the door that I wanted the city council to be more available, and that I was going to make myself accessible. It's a priority that I laid out. I'm very proud of it. I'm proud of the level of engagement that we're doing with ethnic media and diverse communities across the city. And it's just reflective of the kind of leadership that I believe in.
Okay, so they say about the President Obama, when he became the president, people will feel, oh my goodness, there is a huge change came. A colored person became the president of the United States.
Yeah.
When Melissa Mark became the city council speaker, the ethnic and the immigrant community thought, oh my goodness, I could be a speaker of New York City, in the future. So could you please tell us about your childhood a little bit? Where you born? How you come here? You came here at age 15.
18.
18.
When I went to college.
When you was a college.
Yeah, well, I mean, my experience, Puerto Rican.
How challenging it was? How you and your father was a doctor, and he had a hospital there. So it's a very bright, family background and all that. But still, when you came as a Latino, and then definitely you faced some challenges. And
yes, always.
Faces all challenges, become this speaker of New York City.
Right.
It's the biggest city of. So
and even
can you just talk about it?
Sure. I mean, both my parents actually were born and raised in New York.
Okay.
Puerto Ricans born and raised in New York. They went back to Puerto Rico, met there, raised my family. So I have roots in New York, and I always felt comfortable here. When I came to college, yes, when which happens unfortunately to too many people that come from different backgrounds. There's a lot of ignorance. People don't know Puerto Rico, don't know where is it, what's the relationship with the United States. Yeah. There's a lot of ignorance about who we are, and I experienced some of that, even though I was going, to a university where you would think people would know better, right? And so that all helped shape who I was. And when I graduated college, I decided that I wanted to think about working in the neighborhoods, in the community. And as I became more active, some people approached me and asked me to think about running for office. Okay. And so I did. And I think people like me and others achieving these positions, there's a lot of expectation. But I think it also serves as an opportunity for people to be inspired that they can also achieve. Right? When you break any barrier, and I broke a barrier being the first a Latina in this position, it gives people hope that, wow, I can do something. And I'm glad. I want to be able to serve as that inspiration and help others. But, it's been really exciting to be able to make a difference in my community, to make a difference for New York City, and to be a voice for a lot of times people that have felt voiceless.
Okay, so we'll talk more. We'll take a very short break.
Yes.
দর্শক, আমরা ছোট্ট একটা সংক্ষেপ বিরতিতে যাচ্ছি। বিরতির পরে ফিরবো। আপনারা টাইম টেলিভিশনের সাথেই থাকুন। দর্শক, আবার স্বাগতম টাইম টক অনুষ্ঠানে। আপনারা জানেন আমাদের সাথে আছেন নিউ ইয়র্ক সিটি স্পিকার মেলিসা মার্ক। Melissa, you welcome again.
Thank you.
So we are talking about the change you made in and what you were thinking about the change. Can you just talk about a couple of day before yesterday? I think the mayor declared the Eid holiday in New York City schools, and
Yes.
it was a long time due of
Yes,
Muslim
it was.
community. So could you please talk about this, holiday?
Well, I think it's important when I was before being speaker in the city council last session, I was supportive of a resolution, right, asking that the Department of Education recognize these two holidays because they were really important as a way of really acknowledging the Muslim community, and that we have a lot of children in the school system that were having to make a choice, right, about whether or not to go to school in order to celebrate or recognize the holiday, or go to school, right? And so we thought that was unfair, and so we advocated. No, the mayor had made a commitment to honor that, and so we were very happy to be there on Wednesday when he acknowledged that the Department of Education was going to do this, and that really is significant because not only is it recognizing the Muslim community here in New York City, but also it's also a message, to the greater nation, and the importance of inclusivity and being respectful, right? And the reality of New York City is that we're diverse, and so it was really important to be there. I was so happy that the mayor did it. It was a very happy moment, and I know the community is extremely happy.
And you saw there a lot of people TRC.
Yes, there were people, because they've been fighting over 10 years for this. It's been a long time.
So is there any other challenge of this whole, say about what would be the position of New York State?
Well, that we don't know. I mean, obviously, this is a message that's being sent. Hopefully, that's something that could be considered.
Okay.
We'll see.
So you think if the New York State want, they can change it?
No, I don't think so. That's the way the school system operates here. As long as we meet the guidelines, the state tells us how many days a year we have to meet. As long as we meet the guidelines that they set forth, I think that the chancellor and the mayor have the ability to figure out what days they're going to give off.
Okay.
And so those days are now officially part of the school calendar.
And what about the other demand? There is a demand which is called halal food demand. You know halal food
Yes,
demand.
and that's another conversation that has to happen. I'm sure it's happening with the chancellor too. I'm not sure where that stands right now, but yes, I'm aware that that's a really important conversation.
Okay, so another question, that the previous speaker, whoever in her office, when you came to the office, you changed a lot. So could you please tell us, in your office, how do you change? What kind of change you made in your office?
We made a lot of changes because, again, the way I view leadership and the way that I think of this position it was just very different, right? I really wanted the city council to be focused on the members. And so we made changes in some of the rules about how we operate. We give a little bit more control to the council members. And I've structured all of the divisions in the city council to be supportive of members. So it's much more collective, it's more collaborative than it's been in the past. Before, very much the city council was very focused on the speaker, and the speaker had a lot of control, and the speaker was able to just make decisions unilaterally. And I think we're much more of a collective body. Okay. I also have been, one of the things I'm very proud of is that the money that city council members have, we call discretionary money, we're able to put money into our communities. I made it more equal and more fair. And that's something that was very welcome. And so we're just creating more equity within the city council.
Okay, so if someone asks you, okay, how diverse your office is, what would be the answer?
Oh, very diverse. That's something that I'm conscious of. I mean, I can't give you numbers off the hang. We have a large staff, but I was very conscious in terms of the people that I brought on board. Diversity is very important to me in everything that I do. Hiring. We also have the ability as a city council to put people on boards, like cultural organizations, on boards, board of directors, and I'm making sure that the candidates that we put out are also very diverse. So we're always looking for qualified individuals, to put on some of these boards. And so that's something that is very, very important to me, and I believe we've done very well on that front.
In city, Bangladeshis are one of the most, growing community.
Yeah.
One of the 10 growing community
Really?
in your city, yes. Is anyone from Bangladeshi community in your office, or are you thinking to have someone in future?
We have many Southeast Asian. I don't know the exact breakdown, but we definitely are always looking, in terms of when positions become available, of interviewing and seeking diverse pool of candidates.
How about the interns?
Interns as well, yes, yes.
Okay.
That's based on relationships we have with the schools. We have different internship programs in the council.
Okay. Another thing, let me ask you another question. The color students, especially the black and Hispanic, in terms of the education, especially the graduation, finish the graduation, they are falling behind.
Yes.
So being a speaker and being a representative of the immigrant Latinos, what you are thinking to solve that kind of problem?
Well, I mean, it's a real challenge.
Yeah.
It's a structural issue. So we have we're engaging very positively with the Department of Education. This chancellor has been really good. She's someone that is an educator. Unfortunately, chancellors we had under the previous administration had no educational background. And so there's been a lot of changes that are being implemented now, which we need time to take hold. But she's done a really good job of trying to create more equity in the schools and providing support, more support and resources to the schools that need them so that we can improve the graduation rates of the children. But yes, unfortunately, Latinos and African Americans, our graduation rates are relatively low, very low. And so we need to figure out how we can provide, that's why I believe universal pre-K is so important.
Yes.
Because you start creating a foundation which is going to put kids on a track to succeed.
Yes.
We also talked about putting more STEM and technology into the schools as a way of preparing our kids for jobs in those sectors. So I talked about that in my State of the City, and we are talking to like Microsoft and NASA. We want to put more science and technology into the schools to improve the outcomes. So it's not going to be something that's going to be solved overnight. But I know and I have confidence that this administration and this chancellor are really implementing some good changes.
So what is if being a politician, every politician thought about their future. So what are you thinking about your future? What are you going to do?
I do not know. I am term limited. So when I finish my 4 years, I need to leave. I can't run again. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do.
So if your supporter want to see you as a mayor in New York City, then what would be your answer?
I said all options are open. Let's leave it at that.
The option is open, okay. What kind of food do you like?
Oh, me? I am actually, I like to try all different types of food. So
Okay.
I really like to explore. So I try all kinds of food.
Did you ever try Bangladeshi Indian
You know
food?
what? I don't think so.
Okay.
But I would like to.
So would invite you
Okay,
once.
you invite me. I'll be there. Yes.
Okay, and then so if someone will ask you that, okay, what you will do in the future to build up the relation between your office and the Bangladeshi community, what are you going to do?
No, I think what we're doing now is good. If having dialogue, having meetings and hearing the concerns. I know that the first meeting I had where I asked all of the ethnic media that was interested in meeting with me to meet with me, what are your concerns? So I'm open to those conversations, right? And meeting with community leaders, the people that are doing work in the neighborhoods and figuring out what ways we can be more responsive is something that I'm always open to.
Anything you want to say to Bangladeshi community? If you want to say something,
No,
then
I
talk to them.
thank you for hearing this interview. It's great to be able to reach out and continued success to your station, to everyone that is watching, and more than happy to come back in the future.
Thank you so much, Mark.
Thank you
so much. Thank you.
Thank you. It's a
so much.
pleasure.
দর্শক, আমরা এতক্ষণ টাইম টক অনুষ্ঠানে নিউ ইয়র্ক সিটি স্পিকার মালিসা মার্ক-ভিভার্টোর সাথে কথা বললাম। আমাদের সাথে থাকার জন্য আপনাদের সবাইকে স্বাগতম, শুভেচ্ছা। আপনারা টাইম টেলিভিশনের সাথেই থাকবেন। খোদা হাফেজ।